Testing 1, 2. All right. We are here. Welcome. Happy Sunday, everybody. Hope you all had an awesome weekend. Hope that you probably celebrated Halloween, harvest time. You probably had an opportunity to spend some time with the family. I hope you did. I did. It actually was my son Dylan's. Well, it's his birthday in 2 days on Tuesday, and we made the decision to go ahead and do a big family gathering here on Friday night. Halloween, we took our granddaughter and nephews and our some of our kids that were able to be here, older ones and younger ones. We did a whole big trick or treating thing. Well, I didn't really trick or treat. I actually just rode around on the golf cart following the family. And then when they got cold or didn't want to be out there anymore, I was running them back and forth to the house. And then my friend Adam and my youngest son Dylan, whose birthday it is in 2 days, he wanted to hit the rest of the neighborhood, so we just ran around as fast as we could in the golf cart, going from house to house, letting them jump in and out. Most most people by then had bowls of candy just sitting out there. So he just grabbed a couple pieces of candy from every bowl. I know some of you are thinking, like, why don't you just dump the whole bowl in the bag, right? Most of the neighbors usually tell us, like, just dump the bowl. I want to go inside. It's enough already. But we don't do that. We want to be respectful, and we thank you for just in case any other kids or any other families were coming around. But that's what we did Friday night. Saturday, yesterday, my son had a sleepover. So my wife and I did not sleep at all. The dogs were barking all night at the kids. They were up all night in the couch watching movies. They watched Black Phone, a horror movie. So anyway, had a great time, and very excited to have had a really nice weekend. Today was sort of just a down day, chilling out, made chocolate chip pancakes for the kids and all that. But anyway, welcome to the live. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Josh, and I am your average Joe day trader. This will go live on the channel in a little bit once we finish this up. So if you weren't able to be here live today or tonight, you're getting to see it, as you watch it, and we just appreciate it. I see we've got about 7 people in here already, so welcome. If you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for me. Hit that like button and the notification bell so you're notified every time we upload a new video. We finally got this figured out. Thank you to my almost 14-year-old son who comes in here and sets everything up, and I just walk in the studio and I sit down at the desk and I'm ready to go. Very cool. But let's see, it is 8 o'clock. So we are doing this S&P 500 gap up, gap down. Let's see what's happening. And let's see, does that yellow line tell us we are already in a gap up? It absolutely does. So I'm going to tell you right now, everybody, if you are watching this, we have a gap up, which is amazing. Now, maybe right now it's showing a bit of a red pullback on this candle, but if this holds through the night, which you see it just turned back to green, okay, and we closed the market at 682.06. The aftermarket was 681.75, and look where we're at right now, 684.50. This is good news for what we're going to potentially see tomorrow morning. It's not like the couple days we had before where we had basically it just sat even, it didn't gap up, it didn't gap down. Today is a solid gap up. And if we go back to the 15-minute, you're going to see, same thing. If we run through some of the AJDT best day trade stocks for October, and we just go through the list, first one I'm interested in is Tesla. All right, so Tesla didn't really have a major gap up. It did. It popped up to 459.68. And I'm going to go over some levels with you all tonight as we go through this live. And if you've got questions or anything, please hit me in the comments, drop a comment in, let me know what it is you want to know about. We can look at specific stocks. I'm going to talk about AMD tonight. I'm going to talk about Tesla. I'm going to look at APLD to prep myself for the morning. I also have several stocks that I have been tracking and trending that I want to talk to you all about that I think may be some great opportunities. Dana, stuck at work. Hey, that's awesome. What's going on, Dana? Good to have you here. Don't get in trouble. Need to keep that job so you can keep earning that money to go ahead and get in this investment account. But hey, Dana, awesome. Thank you so much. So it's such a blessing to see you here. We're going to talk about a few of those. So if there's something specific that you want, to hear about or for me to chart or trend, I'm going to probably look at a couple stocks I'm interested in seeing the box strategy for tomorrow. Man, Tesla's nice. Tesla's actually pumping back up 458.67 and making its way, as if buyers are pushing this back up to that 459.68, almost 460. Nice. AMD's already up 1.12%. Very nice gap up candle to 260. NVIDIA. Now we're going to talk about NVIDIA a little bit too, because I'm going to share a few things. So listen, this actually opened up at the bottom. You can see the wick all the way down near the bottom, and it launched to the top. And that's where we are right now. And this candle's still building, but it's kind of scary because this is like a monster hammer candle. But as long as it keeps pushing up here, and this is on the 15-minute, if we can get a 5-minute candle after 5 minutes, so we have 2 minutes, about a minute and a half before the next 5-minute candle starts to see where that is. That's what I'm interested in. Palantir, listen, 203.99. Palantir's on fire. It's going to keep going. Robinhood, nice jump up. We need that for Robinhood. IREN. So they're all on this gap up, right? Now, if you notice one thing about my list, there are many stocks that probably aren't on a way up, right? Let's go to WWR for a minute. See, that's not a 24-hour. Let's see here if we can find one just to give you kind of context. That's a 24-hour. So USAR, right? So this is our USA rare earth mineral stock. And this is something you would think with what's happening between Trump and the Chinese president about minerals and rare earth things that this would be a green, right? But look, the gap up is actually the opposite. Okay, this is a gap down. Now, this is why USAR is not on the best day trade list, the best day trade stocks list. And so, please understand that when you look at the best day trade stock list that I put together, I am doing most of the work for you. Now, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a broker, right? I'm just showing you what I use every day to get in and out of making money. And my AJDT best day trade stock list is what I use every day. Every night I go in and look to see how was the performance the day before that day of trading, build a box strategy around it. And I look to see my support and resistance levels for the next day, make decisions in the morning. Am I getting in? Am I getting out? And that's kind of how this works. You don't have to chase after every newest, greatest thing. Just because you see a news article about a specific stock, don't go off on a tangent running to chase after it, because chances are it's not going to be the next best thing. It may potentially be a rug pull. It may be something like we look at Beyond, right? Incredible. The thing launched, but guess what? Once everybody was done with it on the Beyond side of the house, it got pulled. You're right. It dropped. And so a lot of people lose money. It's like meme coins. You got to be super careful. But if we go back to the AJDT list for October, so we were at, where were we at? We were at HIMS. All right, HIMS, nice up. SMR, listen, pumped up, came back down, but still higher than where it closed out. 44.55, 44.87 is where it closed. It closed the aftermarket 44.50, so we're up a little bit from the aftermarket. Rigetti, I am watching Rigetti. I'm going to tell you right now, everybody. Rigetti's one that people have said, get out. Now, I've heard many people, Chris saying, stocks with Josh. All right, everybody saying, be careful, be cautious with Rigetti. And I agree. Rigetti is basically a company, a quantum, that is 27 times its value compared to all of its brothers and sister stocks that are about 5 or 6 times the value. So you have to be careful with it, and there's potential this could drop. I'm letting it run as high as I can get it, and then I'm going to sell out, and might be potentially for a small loss. I'm not doing too bad with it right now, but to put this money back to liquid. I got a pretty big position in Rigetti, and I'm not loving the way it is performing, but it's up tonight, and even with this red candle right now, still up. Intel, look at my goodness, look at the size of this Intel candle. $39.90 to $40.35. Doesn't seem like it should. This looks like a $20 candle. It's not, but that's a monster compared to where Intel was in the post market, right? Let's go to 15 minutes. Yeah, look at that. That's incredible. It literally met half of the Friday day back up to top here, and that's really, really good. QBTS, awesome stock. Quantum, keep your eye on it, even though it's a little bit up there on the red. My fave, APLD. Thank you, APLD, 35.10 right now. I'm going to wait because tomorrow, now listen, Friday, it basically proved me wrong Friday. It did come down a little bit. So if I go to the 1 minute and show this to you, it did on Friday drop at first a little bit. Okay. It opened up and then it dropped right here in this candle. And that was my okay, I'm going to take a risk and get in, right? Because this candle's showing me that it pumped down and it came up. So on Friday, APLD, this was my entry somewhere in here. I don't remember the dollar amounts, but it was about $35 and something cents that I got in. All right. SoFi. Let's get off the 1 minute back to the 15 and let's get back over to where we belong. Okay. SoFi, so interesting. SoFi actually pumped up and now it's pulling back down, and it's causing it to be on a down red, even though it is up 29.81 in the overnight right now compared to 29.68 close. But love SoFi, and it's at that $30 mark. It's going to cross the $30 bridge and keep going. Run is up. Okay. Run is up. Lift is up. And listen, if you want me to go over something specific, drop a comment for me. I see we've got about 10 people in here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me know who you are, where you're from. Hit me on the comments so that I can answer any questions you have. That's the whole point of here. Throw some questions out for me. What do you want to see me look at? Chart, etc. Cypher. All right. Cypher is not a 24-hour. QS is not a 24-hour. LCID Lucid is a 24-hour, and it pumped up and it came back down. So we'll see what that does through the night. QUBT dropped. Wow. Dropped down and then launched back up. So that's interesting. QUBT, another quantum. Interesting. I wonder what that tells us about the quantums. We'll have to see. Open Door Technologies, not a 24-hour. And ONDS, the last one, also not 24 hours, but we're going to wait and see what those do through the market. CJ, what is going on? Bitmine. He wants to know about Bitmine. Huh. Let's see. So Bitminer, BMNR, a lot of talk about Bitmine. So I can't do much with Bitmine right now in the sense of because it's not a 24-hour stock, BMNR. I know there's a lot of positive sentiment about it. Didn't have a good Thursday, didn't have the greatest Friday, but the S&P 500 also pulled down, CJ, and now it's running up. So let's do this. Let me show you real quick here. Let's go to the daily on it and see what's happening. Okay, so it's running flat. It's not, doesn't have a whole lot of movement. You know, you could say this is pretty quality movement. So this is actually, we're going to delete all these because these are actually my box strategy. Going to get rid of those, and let's do some charting with you guys on this one. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to add the ceiling, and you know what I like to do. I'm going to go ahead and get the top part here, and normally I'm doing a 5-day, 30-minute charting. Okay, to see where we're at here. So we'll come back to that. Let's go back to the daily for now, and let's chart this one. All right, so let's see here. If we were going to take this as a high, we're going to make this the gold because we want to get back up to where this launched, right, when it had good news. So leave that be. We're going to come over here, though. We're going to focus on the last many days here. Look, I even have box strategy up here. Let's get rid of that. All right, so now we have got our ceiling. We're going to make this white. Okay, because I always like to know what my floor and ceiling are by the white. We're going to lock this one in place so I can't mess it up. We're going to add another line, and we're going to go to the bottom. And I'm going to stay in this channel right here because we've got a lot of movement right here in this channel. Okay, and like the box strategy, what I like to do, and a lot of people don't necessarily love this idea. I was actually having a whole conversation with somebody the other day about this. They don't love that I do this, but I always add what is the midpoint between my ceiling and my floor. And that's maybe for me, you could use it. It works for me a lot. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to say, I'm going to get off of here because it doesn't have to be dead on. And I'm just going to make that yellow. All right, and we're going to say 71.74. So we have basically 39.70. So let's say 39.70 to 71.70 is about $31, $32. So we're talking, let's say 32, so about 15, 16 bucks, right? So 40, 50. Okay, so we're good. 56.31. We're going to leave that as our midpoint. And what I'm doing with this, so you know, all right, CJ, is I am using this as my understanding of becoming a support and resistance level for my floor and ceiling over the last many days. Now, obviously, this is going all the way back into September. But right now, what I'm seeing is that we get and we break above this average line, which is at this point resistance, breaks above it, comes back down to support, it rejects and pushes it back down. It keeps doing that here, right? So you could almost say, we could add another line here, and let's make these a different color just since we're doing something fun with it. We'll make those blue, okay? And you could take another line and come down here more in the frequency of this, okay, and make this one blue. And let's say we want to live in this channel now, okay? Because you don't have really an uptrend in BMNR. We need some sort of a news catalyst or something to push this up. You could say we have a downtrend right now, right? We absolutely are trending in a down line. So we'll start up top here and we pull it down. This absolutely could be a trend line that's running down. And you could say there's another trend line here. We'll add a second trend line. And let's see. Let's do this because we'll pull this one right across. And what's going to happen here when we meet the end of this triangle? What is this? Anybody want to guess what this is? Okay. Are we expecting this to bull flag, or are we bear flagging this? So drop a comment if you know what this one is. I know I've got a lot of very good experienced charters in here. We were up to 15 people. Welcome. Hey, drop in the comments who you are, where you're from, throw your name at me so I can see who's in here sharing screen time with us. Good to have everybody in here. All right, so BMNR, I'd be a little bit cautious of. We need some sort of good news. I don't think there was much on Friday. Yeah, I know Tom Lee's talking about Bitmine, right? MSTR, so just keep your eye. I will tell you, the one thing that you really need to be careful of is we all believe, commonly everyone believes that the crypto market is getting ready to do a pullback. Now, everybody says, oh, it's going to crash, it's going to drop down. I don't think so. I think what we're going to have is a healthy pullback in crypto. And I'm okay with that because then it gives you opportunities to get back in. So anyway, let's see real quick on Bitmine though. Let's go back to the 30-minute and just see what we've got, right? Hard drops. And look, here is my downtrend on that. And here's the uptrend. So we're pretty far off when we do it on the daily. But you can kind of see over the last couple days, let's do that 30-minute, 5-day, 30-minute, and see. Yeah, so really, CJ, if I had to rank this one, over the days, you've got some good ups and downs, very volatile, but pretty consistently, this is a downtrending that needs an opportunity to break. And we need some news. I need some catalysts behind this one. So that would be my Bitminer. Fox 215, what is going on? Good to see you in here. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. So happy to have you guys in here. My top fans. Look at that. Top fans. All right. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about what I want to talk to you about tonight in this video, and AMD is number one. All right. I've got a lot of questions about AMD. I took a lot of notes about AMD. I'm going to pull my notes here because I did some earlier work on it, and I wanted to share a few things with you about AMD and where are we going with AMD, right? So first things first, and let me make sure I've got my phone here just in case something else happens here. AMD right now is also on this nice, opened up, okay, in the aftermarket for Sunday night, popped up. So let's go to a 15-minute, and you can see it's up here at 258.28. AMD has earnings next week, right? I think it's Tuesday that AMD has earnings, or Tuesday or Thursday. I don't remember off the top of my head which one, but it's next week 100% for sure. And AMD, for the most part, if we go to the daily, you're going to see that AMD has been on a pretty nice run up until the last consecutive 4, almost 5 trading days. Now we have this doji candle here that, a little bit green, but for the most part, we've closed each day somewhat in the red, in a down. So do I believe that tomorrow, Monday, that AMD is going to pull back some more? I think so. I think AMD is going to pull back some more, right? If you just looked at it solely on this from this gap up, and remember, we also have to get back here at some point to fill this gap on the daily because this is right open and it needs to be filled. But we look left, right? Look at this trend for AMD. And we're going back to $76 here in April, right after Liberation Day, where it dropped down and then it started this uptrend. It's a nice uptrend, but then we started pulling back. Okay, we gapped up, had some major days here, red and green, pullback and positive gain days. And it's still on this fire up, but I'm not sure AMD is set to have good earnings. From what I've heard, AMD potentially could pull back. Now, there's some thought here, right? And it's sort of a risk to it. You could let it pull back and get close to earnings, and then you're going to buy calls. And what happens? Remember, you buy a call, then potentially the call could be worthless if it goes the wrong direction. If you go in, and this is sort of a trick that many options traders do, and I'm not the options guy, but I'm sharing with you, many times what people do is they go to the options chain, okay? And you look, right, at the soonest thing. So to be in, as close in the money as you can is $255. And you see here, it's at $12.40. Okay, so $1,240 per contract, basically. And it's at a 55 delta, open interest about 1900. All right, more 250. But what you want to do is you want to look at this, okay, and see what the value is of that. All right, so yes, obviously it's 12,400, but we're talking about basically 6.55% change. All right, so now we're going to get rid of this. And now we're going to go back to the options chain, and we're going to switch this to to puts. And we're going to select the same one, 255. And then we're going to go down here, and we're going to see that this is basically about a 4.43% change. So we're talking about 12 to 13% in either direction is where they believe that AMD could run. So you got to consider, if we're running the last 4 or 5 days, pretty much just horizontal, and depending on what it does tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday, you want to look and understand, is it going down more? Is it a great buying opportunity? Do you buy shares and hope that... Oh, excuse me, guys. Excuse me, everybody. That's the no sleep from the kids' sleepover. But do we buy shares? You own shares, you haven't lost anything. And that's why I keep saying, like, you can buy calls, you can buy puts, you're going to lose it if it expires worthless. You buy shares, you own shares. But this is a pretty hefty price tag, right? There's not a lot of people that can buy, 50 shares or 100 shares of AMD and not feel like you've sunk a lot of your money in there. So we're going to see what happens with AMD. But right now, I'm going to go to the 4-hour, and we're going to throw some lines on here so we can see it better. All right, but we're going to take this top point, and we're not going to make this floor or ceiling. We're just going to go ahead and chart this one based on where it is here. So this is our channel. It is on right now in the 4-hour. It's green, right? It is running from Friday into tonight. It's running green and up. The problem is we've got to get this thing to get to this 267.08 and break 267.08. And on a big stock like this, from 258.40 to 267 is not huge, right? It's not a huge run for stocks like this that are extremely volatile, but it could be. Hey, Anthony, what's up? Georgia, good to see you in here, brother. Haven't seen you in a while. Another Discord member. We got Dana and Anthony from Discord in here. So, and I'll talk about that in a minute too. But make sure that, you're understanding this, and just keep an eye. This is basically a 4-hour. We go to the daily, and look, we're in this channel 5 days solid. We got to break up this. We got to get above this 267.08 in order to see AMD run. And I'm just not positive that the earnings play is going to be that positive run here. 11/4, yep, Tuesday. And is it before open or closed open? I don't have my earnings whisper here, so I can't tell you exactly if it's before or after. I think it is actually close of market on Tuesday. So anyway, keep your eye on that, AMD, if that's something that interests you. The one that interests me even more is Tesla. And let me get to Tesla. That's my OG list. Tesla, let's take a look at Tesla. Let's see what's going on in the 15-minute. Look at it, still nice, cracking, right? And I've got my lines on here. You know that we need to hit 464. All right, that is a level for me to get to break above 464. 467 is the next top peak there. But we also want to make sure that we're staying away from dropping down. 439.61. So let me just share some things about Tesla for you. I've got a lot of numbers on here, and I'm going to go ahead and just throw them on here, and we'll see how they compare to what I already have there. Let me look. Okay, so yeah. So we want to stay away from this 432.90. We want to keep it above the previous close of 440. We want to keep this on an upward trend. We've got 451.21. If we can stay above 451.21, and then 464. And I'm going to throw another one at you over here. 479.44. That's still good. That's still relevant because 482.90 is similar and close. But where I believe this is going, just so you know, I'm going to add a new line on here based on the trend, based on my analysis, based on what I'm seeing. And I'm going to make this one, we already have the gold, so we're going to make that gold. We're going to change this one to blue because sky's the limit. Let's get above the sky and head for gold. All right, but this one right here is actually the new high for us that we want to get to is 526.79. I know some of you are thinking right now, Josh, are you crazy? 526 on Tesla? Yeah, 526 on Tesla, okay? If you go left and we keep going, right? Let's keep going. Here, let's go to the daily. My bad. Okay. Let's keep going. Look what we got up there. 414. Okay. Let's keep going left. Let's keep going. Okay. Ooh, we did this live. We got this live. I can't even pull it back. Here, check it out. Okay. 526.79 based on breaking this, which we were sort of already there. 490, 2021. We got to get through it to head to 526, and 560 is my top level. Now, these are based on percentages, right? I want to show you left because this is all-time highs for Tesla. We need to break above because what we're looking at is basically conditionally, okay? Your percentage increases as it runs from the daily. Look at, I just sort of messed that one up. That one was boom, 297.35. Okay. So this is the potential uptrend. If we can break this, we're moving up to 490. If we can break 490, we got the potential to get to 526. We can get past 526, we're hitting 560. And my prediction is we hit 500. We're going to get to 500 probably closer towards the end of the year. And then once we hit 500, we might see a bit of a pullback. I don't know we're going to get past this to this 526, 560 right away, but it all depends on the news, right? If you hadn't been paying attention, there's a lot of stuff going on in the news right now, and we need to keep an eye on that because Tesla with Elon Musk, there's a lot of good stuff going on for him, and there's a lot of things that maybe not are so good. SpaceX is one. They're talking a lot about doing a lot of very good things for SpaceX absolutely affects the Tesla stock as well because same guy. It's all about Elon Musk. Okay. Let's look at NVIDIA together real quick. That's the next one. And then I'm going to share a few new stocks to put on your watch list. All right. But NVIDIA. Okay. Yep. I've got my Fibonacci scale on here. So you can see that on Wednesday, we popped up and hit this 215 line, rejected. This is the daily and came back down, but we pumped up to hit this next level, 202 area right here. Okay. Let's see. All right. And then it rejected, but it broke through a little bit. So let's go to the 15-minute because this is running right now. So it did pump up with the S&P 500 gap up. It's up here, and now it's holding up here. A little bit red. Don't love to see that. But, we'll see what happens with NVIDIA. Here's what I want to share about NVIDIA. NVIDIA's got some good lines in the sand. All right. I'm going to go ahead and add some of them in here for the visual. We'll leave that one red, but we're going to go ahead and make this one we need to keep an eye on for NVIDIA, 201.84. Okay, that is a bottom level for me. I don't necessarily want to see 201.84, but we're pretty close. We're way past it now, pushing towards this 205.97. But we're also going to add another line, and it's going to be my next level in my charting world, okay, is 219. 219.64. And there's a lot of people right now going, again, Josh, you're crazy. But I'm telling you, we're here already. Look, we're already at 205.41 wicked up. We're here at 204.92, 205.97. And then the 219 is not impossible. Okay. We got this next level 215 and then 219. Not impossible. All right. So NVIDIA also demonstrating earnings this week. Big earnings. So we'll see how that does. But I've got about, on NVIDIA, I've got about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 levels. Excuse me, I got about 11 levels for NVIDIA, ranging from 201.84 to 203.15 to 204.77, 207.04, 208.68, 210, 212.18, 213.33, 214.48, 219.64 I just gave you, and 226.07. And the reason why I'm throwing them all at you, if you want to rewind and rewatch and write those down, is because those are all basic candlestick levels of where there was potential support and resistance. And what I'm doing is based on runs, based on trending it over 30 days, looking at the 20-day moving average, the 200-day moving average. Where do I think NVIDIA is going to go? And I believe we've got some great potential for NVIDIA to hit 219.64. Not financial advice. Just keep your eyes on it. I'll be in it with you and watching and making decisions day by day. Palantir tomorrow. Oh, yeah, man. Palantir. You're 100% right, Fox 215. Palantir. And, Palantir is in my long-term portfolio for my retirement. One day, Palantir is going to be $1,000 a share. And I'm going to look back and say, yeah, I am able to sit here on this rocking chair with my wife and enjoy this time, watching our grandkids running around, whatever's going on at the time in our life. And I'm going to say that a good part of that was because of my investing in Palantir. Palantir sitting right now at 204.10 in the overnight, and it's up here, right? And I've got some levels on Palantir. And my next level for Palantir is 217.76. Okay, so 188.75, 199.83, 217.76. And I really believe we got some really strong, good opportunities with Palantir. I don't do a whole lot of messing with Palantir because, like I said, this is a set and forget. I don't day trade Palantir. But you're 100% right. What's up, Jessica? What's up, Jessica? Welcome. Love to have you here too. So, Palantir, good call out, good one. Watch for earnings tomorrow. I think earnings are going to crank. I think earnings are going to rocket. And my whole decision on Palantir now is, do I take Palantir on the upside of Palantir, sell it off to kind of lock in those profits when it pulls back down? Because, a lot of times some of these successful, strong earnings do eventually pull back down and get back to this trend line, depending on what it's doing. So welcome from Florida, Jessica. So you can see in the daily, we've got a nice over the last, 7 days, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, nice uptrend on Palantir, and it just keeps rocking. It just keeps rocking. So yeah, look for that earnings play. It's definitely going to fly. It's definitely going to fly. I think it's a rocket. But again, do your own homework, do your own due diligence. I'd be looking at your options, what you want to do in Palantir for the calls. Jay, I never know how to say it right, but man, welcome, bro. Good to have you. Good to have you, Jay. Thanks for being here. Jai makes some good call outs and comments. So glad you're with us tonight. We've got about 17 people in here, 6 likes. Thank you. Thank you. And now I'm going to share a few with you. Oh man, I knew the BBAI question was coming, right? Yeah. Jai, let's look at BBAI. So I have mixed feelings about BBAI. Okay. Hey, Fajita Fighter, what's going on, brother? I don't know about the goat, but definitely sometimes a mule. But so BBAI, listen, this is one that I've seen over time, and I am talking directly to the BBAI army. Do not dismay. I just put it in my video that I did over the weekend on Friday into Saturday. Ended up being a Saturday update. BBAI is one that you just live in it. Okay, they have such amazing news, such good things going on. What's up, Tatiana? Okay, Ionic. Yes, we will get to Ionic in a second. BBAI is one that pretty much, that somewhere one day you'll be looking back at this one and just thanking yourself and saying, thank you, Lord, that I bought BBAI stock. Okay, even though it's running up, it's doing this dance. It's doing a marathon over months, up to 9, down to 6. Okay. But it has not come below this level right here, okay? This candle right here, 602. It's not below it. And we're still running on above the 20-day moving average, right? So the 20-day moving average is above it. We're right below it. And, oh man, I'm going to show this to you, okay? This yellow dotted line, okay, even though I may have to move it now. But if I go to my weekly chart, we are slowly consolidated in what I still believe to be this cup and handle. This is still handle that's consolidating. So will earnings do it? I don't think earnings is going to do it. Matter of fact, I do have some concerns about earnings and some pullback. But Chicago O'Hare Airport, Nashville, Tennessee's International Airport, Panama Canal. They're doing a ton of work with the Panama Canal, with Border Patrol and with Homeland Security. Okay, they've got some amazing things going on, and There's just so much positive sentiment. I'm holding. I'm not stressing. I'm not worrying. And I'm going to tell you right now, if this thing were to drop to $4 on earnings tomorrow, I would be buying the boat. I'd be looking at what else can I sell off in my account that I'm in profit right now to turn that money and put it in BBAI for the next run back up to $8, $9, $10, $50, whatever it's going to be. So good question, Jai. I think BBAI. I'm a little concerned about earnings for this week with BBAI. We'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. All right. I'll be watching this one very closely. I know you will be too. All right, Ionic. Let's jump into Ionic. Oh, and the levels here, just so you know, right? So kind of hard to see. Let me go back to the 4 hour on it. But my levels on BBAI, so you know, I'm bullish on BBAI, even though it's had this pullback. Okay. But 675. Okay. We got to stay above 675. Let me get back to auto here so it's not as bad. There we go. It's got to stay above 675. We need to get, and it's at there right now, 696 in the overnight. Okay. We don't have the market open yet. It's not a 24-hour BBI, but when we closed here at 696. All right. Even though it wicked to 702, we've got to break to 702. It hit 702 and rejected, pushed back down because 702 is a level of resistance. We break this one, then we're looking at 717, and we got to get up to the 717, 720, 732. So BBAI, don't stress about it. Don't stress. Okay. All right. Next one, Ionic, IONQ. I like Ionic. It's a 24-hour. Look, nice and clean run up so far, 63.31 in the overnight. I like Ionic a lot. It's got good trends. The last couple days have been on a nice uptrend. You could say the last 4 days we had this, pretty significant drop on it. And again, this is all China, U.S. tariff news, stuff that's going on there. But we had that pullback S&P 500 with it, 57.07. You could have gotten in at this $58, $57, $58 range and ran this thing up before it opened up here to the $62 range. Not bad, $4 a share. I'm going to be watching Ionic for tomorrow as well. And I don't have my earnings calendar in front of me. Hang on, let me grab the earnings calendar because I think Ionic has earnings this week too. Give me 1 second because we're live and this is where let me go into the Discord because I post all the earnings plays in Discord for everybody. So if you become a member of the Discord, I'm sending everyday updates on earnings, on specific stocks, giving you a lot of different information on a lot of my research on earnings in the Discord. We have an earnings channel. Here's the earnings channel. Let's see here. So tomorrow before opening, Cypher, CIFR, which is a best day trade. Berkshire Hathaway, that's going to be huge. Fubo TV. I have a horror story about Fubo. Not loving Fubo right now, but it's doing well. NVTS has got earnings tomorrow after close with Palantir, Hims, Goodyear, huge week. All right. Diamondback. I didn't even know they were still in business. Uber on Tuesday morning. Shopify. And I did a whole analysis on Shopify for our Discord members and put it in the Discord. Pfizer. I have calls for Pfizer. I've got 5 contracts, 500 shares, calls. I don't remember the strike price for Pfizer, but I'm expecting those to run. They're already up. I'm already up about $30-something on it. So pretty happy with that. I don't see Ionic. So SMCI, AMD, which I know we just talked about that. Look, Beyond Meat's announcing earnings. Can you imagine if Beyond Meat explodes? That would be crazy. That would be crazy. All right, Wednesday before opening. Oh, NVO, Novo Nordisk. Very good. That's going to be a good one, I think. That could be a really good one. Elf is always very good. The cosmetic company, they're announcing earnings after close on Wednesday. Dutch Brothers, my gosh, let me just tell you. Historically, Dutch Brothers has a run up and then for the next day or so continues to run up on earnings. I'm going to be looking at Dutch Brothers here in a minute to see where it's at. Matter of fact, let me just pull it up. Well, we're going to trend Ionic for you, Tatiana. Before we get off of that, we'll go to Dutch Brothers in a minute. Let's see. QBTS has earnings on Thursday before opening. Oscar, OSCR has earnings. What a huge week. Archer, ACHR, Archer Aviation, DraftKings, SoundHound. Listen, SoundHound, be careful. I potentially see SoundHound pulling back. and that's okay. That's my opportunity to buy more. Open Door, the Trade Desk, TTD, that one's good. They have earnings after close on Thursday. All right, I don't see it. We spent a lot of time looking for Ionic, but it is not here on the earnings. It could be. It may just not be one of the top earnings plays for the week, so it's not in the earnings whisper calendar. All right, let's do a little trending on Ionic real quick here for Tatiana. So we're going to go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, that's my high. We're going to call that our ceiling. That's the resistance level, 65.50. We're also going to add another level based here on the low over the 5-day period. We're going to make that one white. Okay. And now we have our ceiling and our floor. We have support and resistance, 65.50 to 57.15. And you can see it's been living in this channel. It did drop and break down out of here, came back up, broke above it, but we're still living in here, right? So let's add one more line just for the fun of it, 57 to 65. It's about $8. So we're going to go about $4. So we're going to get it about, $61. Let's see how close we are. 61.69 works for me. Does it work for you? Works for me. All right, we're going to make that one yellow, and that'll be our basically center line. We don't want to see it break below it. And if it does, we don't want to see it get below 57.15. If we can stay above it, which we are right now, then we're shooting for 65.50. So let's see what Ionic does there. But that, in essence, is how I do that. Now, Tatiana, I haven't seen you in here before, so I'm going to do my box strategy on this one for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually take a box. Okay, where are you? Get off of there. This thing's funky playing with me. Here we go. We're going to grab a rectangle, okay? Now, we're not going on right now what's happening because in the post market, we're going by the day. Actually, you know what? Since this was post on Friday, let's use this one. So we're going to grab this, pull it down, come over to my low, lock it in, and then we're going to pull it across here and lock, and then we're going to take it and we're going to pull it all the way across through the next day. All right, we'll go into the post. And what we're looking for here, all right, is we're looking to use this now as our support and resistance. So what I do for Ionic tomorrow, if you're going to play Ionic, Tatiana, what I do for Ionic tomorrow is I watch this in the morning when it opens up at 4:30 a.m. and I see, does it break above this? If it breaks above this, I feel pretty confident that we're heading to 65.50. If it doesn't, if it pulls back, which I don't know why it would, but if it pulls back, right? Well, we're at 63.33 in the overnight. My bad. We are 24 hours on this right now. Boom, there it is. Yeah, we're doing good. We want to break this, okay, and continue. If it pulls back for some reason in the overnight, in this 24-hour market, and in the morning pulls back some, we just want to hold above 61.69. If you see it break below 61.69, and not just a wick, right? Because it could wick and come back up. But if you get candle to fill wick below 61.69, potentially you're going to run down here to this bottom, which is somewhere around $60. So just keep your eye on that. And this is my box strategy. If you hadn't played my box strategy with me before, this is how I build my box strategy, and love to play the box strategy. It works for me. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you, but it absolutely works for me. All right, we still got about 15 people holding in here. Let me share with you the goods. Are you ready? I got some pretty awesome stuff I want to share with you. I got 4 stocks I want you to keep your eye on, maybe 3. One I'm not sure of. I might just give you 3. Okay. Now I'm just getting ready to chart these out. I've been doing some homework as far as understanding more about the company, and I will know more into the week. But the first comment I want to put in your radar. So here's the thing. My brother-in-law says to me the other day, Josh, we've been day trading the heck out of APLD, right? We make money in APLD every day, and AMPX, which is a leveraged APLD. Okay. But they're getting really expensive. I mean, to buy 1,000 shares at $35 is pretty expensive. To buy 1,000 shares, I usually buy between 400 and 500 shares, which still costs me, about 15,000. And I put that money in there. And then, like my Webull account, once I throw 15,000 at something, I take profit, I get out. I'm done for the day with that 15,000. I've got to buy another stock, something else with whatever else is in powder. Okay. Or I'm buying something with the swing of the next day if I feel it's going to do that. But it potentially, could cause me to be out of the market after the first couple hours of the morning or even a half hour, depending on how much I invest in. So we're looking at different stocks that are cheaper in value. Well, I've got a few for you, and they are quantum stocks that I believe personally are going to soar, and they are very well priced right now. And the first one I want to throw on your radar, put it on your watch list, is called BTQ. BTQ Technologies. Okay. So check this out, $7.64. All right. Let me double check. Not a 24-hour stock, $7.77. It closed on Friday. All right. Let's go to the daily. It's been on a pretty hard downtrend for the last several weeks. Okay. If I bring it up here though, it opened up at 19 cents down here. This was back in December 2024. We go all the way here. This was the opening of the stock itself, but this is kind of the quiet survivalist right now. It's one that is doing some pretty incredible things. I'm going to kind of read my notes to you a little bit here. So they're Vancouver-based. They entered the NASDAQ September 2025. They've been in business longer than that. But they are a quantum encryption company. They're not a quantum stock. They're not in chips. They're not in data centers. They are an encryption company. So what they're doing is they are building, yes, Jai, we'll get to Poet in a second. They are building structure, and basically it's called digital arming, right? It's post-quantum cryptology. Say that 3 times super fast. Post-quantum cryptology. I couldn't even do it more than once. They just signed a deal for $15 million with ICTK. It's another basically computer company, stock quantum type company. Great deal. They're supporting BTQ. Do some homework, do some research on BTQ, because I think it's going to get ready to run. And at $7.64, $7.77, if we can monitor this and see it hold here, all right, I'm not charting this one out yet. There's not a lot of data. I want to see us break past. Once I start to see this level off and get some positive momentum in candles, then we'll chart this thing and understand where's it going. But right now, $7.15, $7.60, this could be a very good longer term stock. I don't know necessarily it's a very good day trade stock. I mean, it did very good on Friday. It did sort of okay on Thursday, horrible Wednesday. You had some opportunity on Tuesday, Monday, forget it. Everything came down and crashed Monday. You remember that day. So I don't know if it's necessarily a very good day trade stock, but I'm going to be looking at potentially putting this one on the Average Joe Day Trader best day trade stocks after I do my homework on it. Okay. We'll get to Poet in 1 second. Let me just continue sharing these watch list ones. QUBT. Okay. QUBT is another one you need to put on the watch list. Okay. QUBT. I like QUBT. It's a very good company. QUBT is one of the most talked about stocks this year, and they are actually up. Check this out. They're actually up over 1,200% this year. Okay. 1,200%. You can see that trend line there from the bottom running all the way up. 1,200%. So put this one in your watch list and take a look at it. And it's kind of doing nice going into last week. It's 24 hours. Look what it's doing right now on this chart. Let's go to the 50-minute. Yeah, so nice. Kind of came down, pumped back up, but QUBT, put it on your watch list. They basically are going to become one of the major players in this quantum world. All right, they're predicted to become a major player in this quantum world, and they deal with what's called light particles. So they're not dealing with chips or a data system. The way they employ their quantum world is through light particles and protons. Okay, and that's how they deliver it to carry and process quantum information. So very, very cool how that works. Let's see, on September 25th, they received a buy rating of up to $24, sitting at $16.82 right now in this aftermarket. So there's some room for this to hit up to potentially this buy rating of $24. And I remember doing these videos and telling people about APLD all the time and saying, APLD, I'm telling you, $28, buy rating, $31. The analyst just made it $31. They're like, you're crazy. Okay, where's APLD sitting right now? Around $35. and continuing to break towards that $40. So, all right, next one, and this is an early one to get into if you want to get into it. QCI. QCI. Where are you, QCI? Oh, my bad. My bad. This is part of QUBT. QUBT. I'm sorry. So, yes, my note is that QCI actually did an equity offering for QUBT of $750 million. They right now have raised, this is QUBT, they've raised $1.64 billion, okay, since January 2024. It's one of the, and they have one of the strongest balance sheets compared to any quantum company right now. So what they do with that money, let's keep your eyes on that one. And the last one, let's see, the last one, or I may have one more after this. Okay, two more. Put it on your watch list. Here we go. WKEY. WiseKey Internet. Or International. WiseKey International. This is another one you want to put on your radar. They are doing extremely well. Kind of lost. Why did I lose some of this screen here? I don't have my technical specialist with me, so I got to be careful what I touch and what I mess with. On the daily, you can see, look at this thing. Okay. WKEY. Yes, it did pull back on Friday, but it's been since $5 on this upward momentum. Right now, sitting at $16.82 when it closed on Friday. So put this on your watch list. Put this on your radar. They deliver technology to protect quantum information, basically from hacking, and that's what WiseKey does. So they're not a chip. They're not a program. They're a key system that protects against hackers. And you know, we're going to need this in the quantum world, right? Hackers are already trying to develop ways to get into systems and basically violate all the quantum systems already. So there's going to be a huge need for this. And the last one to put on your list, and then we're going to Poet for Jay. Jay, tell me if I'm saying it right. Jai. I hate to mispronounce your name wrong every single time. But SKYT. This is Skywater Technology. Skywater Technology is sitting at about, well, it was sitting at $16.59. Let's see, is this running 24 hours? No, it's not. Closed the market on Friday at 1746. And the thing about SKYT, Skywater Technology, is that basically they're up 69% for the year. You good? All right. I hear you. Thank you. 69% for the year, right? This is not a quantum company. It's basically a semiconductor. They're a chip manufacturer. Okay. Skywater Technologies is creating another chip. And because the market, you always look at all like NVIDIA and all these ones that are killing the market. They own the market. Okay. Take a look at SKYT. This could be a sleeping giant. Basically, they're creating chips. Their chips that they're creating are specific to aerospace, defense, auto, okay? And those are huge markets that need to have chips. You remember what happened during COVID, and now look what's happening with China. Even if we have a trade deal, which I don't know if it's true or not, I'm waiting to see the real news. But even if we have a trade deal with China, do you think that we're going to allow China to buy our best NVIDIA chips? No, we're not. Trump's never going to allow that. So what's China going to be doing? They're going to be looking at other opportunities to find companies, small type cap companies that are creating amazing chips to get in and buy chips from. And I think SKYTs you need to have on your radar. Okay. All right. Let's go to Poet real quick. And we got about 18 people in here. Welcome. If you want to drop who you are and your name and where you're from, go ahead and drop that in here. And then I'm going to talk to you real quick about Discord. Let's look at Poet. So we've done the levels. So check it out. Who was asking? Yeah, Jai was asking about Poet, right? So, we dropped below what we made our floor for the previous 5-day, 30-minute. So we got to adjust this. So we're going to go to 5 days, 30-minute, and now we're going to adjust this down to the new floor. We dropped down $6.28. And if we look at 5 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is that still relevant? Are we still relevant on our 5 days? Not really. We're going to bring it up a little bit. So we've got a floor a support level of 628, and a ceiling resistance of 874. Now, obviously, this is not support and resistance levels in actuality all the way across the board, but this is where we're living, floor and ceiling. We know over 5 days that we are wanting to turn and make our way back up. And if you see over the last 3 trading days, even though they may not be pretty, right? That's what's going on. We're running horizontal. Joe Green, what's up? What's up, Louisiana? Yes, another one of our members, our Discord members. So what we're looking for here is tomorrow, 4:30. We want to see Poet start this backup trend, and I think it could do it because if you notice, we put this level here, right? So it rejected on this and started pushing back up, and then the market closed. So what's going to happen when the market opens at 4:30? I don't know. We need to take a look at it. And if you are watching this one tomorrow, Jai, throw a comment on tonight's video and tell us what you saw on Poet tomorrow. It's hard to kind of go back and look at everything, but I'm still feeling pretty good about it. I don't necessarily want to kind of, if we go to the daily and see where we're at here, let's just see where our next level is on this. All right. So yeah, not loving it. Not going to lie to you. 495. I'm not loving that, to go from 644 down to 495. So yeah, earnings are coming. And you know what? I don't know if Poet is, what their potential earnings are going to be, if they're making money or how they're doing. If you do, Jai, throw it in here in the comments so everybody can see. Are they profitable right now? Makes a big difference, right? So we just kind of have to see what Poet's going to do. But I don't think personally it looks too bad. When I look at that daily chart, it's leveled off a little bit. Hopefully it makes the turn and runs back up. We're looking at, this trend right here down, of course, and you see that it's way below the 200-day moving average, and it's right using the 20-day moving average as support and resistance right now. Not a very good sign, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with Poet. So, yep. I hear you. Waiting on open door earnings. Yep, I called that earlier. Definitely on earnings. Hey, so real quick, just want to share with you before we shut this one down for the night, let everybody kind of get on. It's been about an hour. First and foremost, Discord. Okay, I've got a couple people that joined the initial membership level. They got a $5 million order. Awesome. Man, that should help. That should give it that's a nice catalyst for Poet. Discord. So I've got a couple members that joined the entry level, right? We call them the Wall Street level, the entry level, AJDT membership. I'm going to take those memberships and I'm going to elevate you to the elite group. You're going to stay at the level you're at where you bought in, but there's only a few of you, and I'm going to give you access to Discord and get you in the Discord. And then we're going to go to just one level. And that one level right now is, we're still at that less than $10 range, depending on what system you're on. If you're Apple, I think they charge you $12.99. I saw someone join the other day from Australia, and they charged him $14.99, or him or her $14.99. So it depends on where you are and all that. I have it set at $10. All right. It's going to potentially go up to $14.99. So waiting to see that. And I'm going to be using WAP, the WAP program, to basically manage this for me, because I'm realizing you're joining and then you have to send me an email and I have to send you a link and all that. We can get it set up through WAP. I'm trying to work through some of that, and you can just join. But if you want to join the elite membership now, then hit the join button on the AJDT membership for YouTube. Join it. Send me an email at averagejoedaytrader01@gmail.com. Let me know that you've joined. I'll go and confirm it, and I send you your one-time access link to get in there to become part of the Discord. We've got some very cool things happening in Discord. Number one, we've got an options playground, and I'm not the options guy. I'm learning options myself, but I'm throwing a lot of calls. I've got some really talented options individuals, one that's also training me that has been in the options market for years and is doing very well, very well. I would call him a whale, but very well. He's a very well whale, and has done incredible in his financial, saving for his life retirement through options. He's teaching me. I'm throwing a lot of his plays that I'm doing, and there I also throw a hot list that's given to me every day, sometimes twice a day, for you to look at different calls and puts and make decisions on. And then I also have in there a AI bot that's calling out breakouts to the high and to the low. So all day long, pretty much, I'm getting this bot running program for me, which is not super cheap, but it's well worth it. And I hope it's making money for the community. I've tested it for a few weeks and it's definitely working. But basically you get a breakout. It shows you a trend. It could be a daily trend, a weekly trend, a monthly trend. But it shows you the trend and it tells you breakout alert, and it shows the candle on that day breaking out, and you have to make decisions on what you want to do if you trust it and want to go with it. Again, none of it's financial advice, but it also tells you on a breakdown alert. It tells you which ones are running down, and potentially you could buy puts on those or calls on the other. You have to do research and homework about the stocks. You don't just jump into anything blindly. I tell you that. Do your homework. But a very good basic sentiment is to do some homework on it and look and see what you want to get in and out of. So give me 1 second here. I want to pull one more thing up here on the chart for you guys. Yes, Dana, thank you. Thank you for that plug for the Discord. You ask a question in there. We're going to try to answer it the best we can. We want everyone to be successful. We want everyone to make money. I mean, the whole purpose of being part of the stock market and being an investor is to make money, not lose money. And so my whole thing is educate yourself, learn the patterns, learn the charts, learn support and resistance. You want to educate yourself so that you can be successful in trading. And that's what we want to do. Okay. So one more thing here, and I actually got a question. Jai threw a question in there. Is investor dilution always unhealthy, right? So here's what I'm going to say about investor dilution. I have a gentleman that I talk to quite a bit. He lives the dilution game. He looks for companies that are diluting. He waits until, the best opportunities after the dilution to get in. I mean, he plays these like crazy. So what happens is basically you'd say unhealthy. All right. So when would you say dilution is unhealthy? Because that's the word Jai used. Well, if a company raises money recklessly, okay, and you could say, right, we just talked about one of the top 3 I threw at you to put on your radar and your watch list, those quantum plays. They raised $1.4 billion, whatever the number was. Could you say that's unhealthy? Well, it depends where it came from, how they came about it, how they got it. Issuing too many new shares without a clear growth plan is a problem. And if you see that happening in a company, be very careful, be very cautious. You also have where now shareholder value is going to decline. It's going to erode, and again, I'm going based on this unhealthy question, Jai. Basically the pie gets bigger. You've added more shares, so now you have a much bigger pie, and you don't have a bigger piece of the pie. You now have a lot of smaller pieces of the pie. And as the pie gets bigger, your slice shrinks and the pie itself actually isn't growing. The pie got bigger, but it's not really growing. We're adding to it, making it look like it grew, but it really didn't. And what if they're using the money to pay down debts or to cover losses instead of fueling growth? That could be unhealthy. That could be a real problem. Let's see. What else can I say about unhealthy dilution? Oh, my goodness. Well, you have to look at it also from the perspective of their management, their leadership. Are they good? Are they strong? Or are they weak? If they're weak management, then there's potentially a situation where they could be desperate for cash. They're trying to hold on to everything to keep this company afloat. And so you got to be very wary of that too. But I also want to share with you, when could dilution be healthy, right? So dilution could be healthy because they may be funding growth. All right. If they're issuing shares to invest in expansion, say they've added the money to R&D, right? For research and development, that's very good. Or acquisitions that could potentially increase long-term value. Those are all good. They could also be strengthening the balance sheet, which is what I believe in Poet. I believe that they're strengthening the balance sheet. 1.4 billion. They have a very strong balance sheet as well. And yes, yep, Jai, I'm totally with you. So I think that could potentially be what's going on. They may also be paying off some debt, but the way they're paying off debt is to improve liquidity in the market. It's very strategic. So that's healthy dilution. They also could be adding to, um, employee incentives, right? This could be stock-based compensation for employees. I work for a corporation as an executive that we have stock-based incentives. I have 401k. I have, stock options. I have actual stock. I have an ESOP program. Those are all very strong things that potentially, if they're diluting, could help me long term down the road, or also attracting more top talent in my top end, in my leadership crew. M&A deals is sometimes where companies issue stock to acquire another business, which can make them both stronger, both companies. That could be a potential for Poet that could be happening down, behind the scenes. All right. So hopefully that did answer the questions for you, Jai, and I gave you sort of the healthy and unhealthy, and we'll see what happens there. But anyway, listen, thank you for being here. Hit that subscribe button. If it's your first time here, seeing this video and you're watching it after it's been recorded, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we upload a video. Thank you for those that are here live with us tonight. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Join the Discord if you haven't already. Get in there with us. Great opportunity. Jump in now and secure your spot while there's spots available at the price we have it at now. I guarantee you will enjoy being part of the community. That's my dogs barking if you hear them. Probably an Amazon return. We do that very well. But, jump in, join the Discord, and that's it. Listen, God bless you all. Thank you so much for being here. Let me double check, see, make sure I didn't miss any questions. Anything in there at all? Yep. Jai News, wondering why it's not breaking down. Yep. Beautiful. All right. God bless you guys. Have a great night. See you tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing what the market does at 4:30 in the morning. And when I wake up, I always check my account to see the S&P 500. Let's pull it up real quick here one more time before we disconnect so we can see the SPY. The SPY is sitting very nicely. 684.21. All right. God bless you. Josh out. Peace. How do I stop the live? Is the question.